Ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
Well, it is exactly at the top of the hour. Welcome to KBC's Lunchtime News. We're keeping an eye at the coast where the members of Parliament, including the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Masika Wetangula, are currently having a parliamentary group meeting in that particular county. As and when we get that particular feed, given that he spoke earlier, we'll be telling you more. But talk to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 and at Abdiaziz Hashim 2. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Baron Bully. Let's start with this particular story, where remarks by the ODM leader Raila Amolo Odinga proposing that the NGCDF be domiciled in the counties have continued to attract varied reactions, with MPs now drawing the daggers against the former premier. A section of Ukambani legislators have accused Odinga of crossing the red line by appearing to antagonize the National Government Constituency's Development Fund, NGCDF.
The Ukambani leaders, led by Mwala MP, who also serves as the National UDA Organizing Secretary, Vincent Kawaya, dismissed Raila's stance, accusing him of antagonizing the government from within.
We are likely to form the next government with Tinga. I believe we are going to form the next government with Tinga. So the only thing maybe Tinga you need to do is to draw, unajua kuna mahali uvuki, kuna mistari. Live wire CDF hiyo wachana nayo.
The leaders say Raila's position contradicts the NADCO report already in the process of implementation, as the report had proposed the protection of NGCDF.
Lakini hii tutaitetea mpaka damu ya mwisho ikwishe kama members of parliament.
The same disquiet resonated in the neighboring counties of Kitui and Makueni, with Kitui South Member of Parliament Rachel Kaki and her Kaiti counterpart Joshua Kimilu terming Odinga's remarks ill-informed. They say the funds has played a critical role in improving education, infrastructure and other community-based projects across the counties. They vowed to resist any attempts to scrap it.
Hakuna njia unazaambia mwananchi wa kawaida ati si ndio kutolewa kubaliana wewe. Kwa sababu hii pesa si pesa ya wabunge, ni pesa ya wananchi, na wananchi ni wao wamekataa. Tulifanya public participation na wakasema ya kwamba hiyo pesa endelea na kukaa.
Ukitembea Kenya yote katika ofisi ya chief utaona CDF. Ukienda shule utaona CDF. Ukienda kwa barabara ya Rural Road utapata CDF.
Kwesero MP Christopher Seka, in the meantime, has cautioned against allowing governors to control the National Government Constituency Development Fund.
Ati wewe unasema utoe CDF ambayo hii Kwesero inasaidia watoto zaidi ya 2,000 on full scholarship. Watoto maskini, kwa sababu ya kwamba some governors, wale corrupt governors, wamekuja kudanganya mzee wetu Raila Amolo Odinga.
Joseph Ohungu for Lunchtime News.
Also, the Ministry of Health now says it is concerned with the underrepresentation of persons with disabilities in the country, despite nearly 1 million registered cases nationwide. Medical Services Principal Secretary Dr. Omo Luga says many people living with disabilities remain unregistered, citing stigma and lack of awareness. Meanwhile, KEMSA CEO Dr. Wako Ejersa has emphasized the need for accurate data to determine the real magnitude of disability in Kenya to ensure adequate resource allocation, equity and inclusion. Clinton Health Access Initiative Deputy County Director Rosemary Kihoto noted economic exclusion of persons with disabilities have seen access to assistive devices depend largely on charity. The officials called for inclusive policies and clearer identification of those in need as Kenya moves towards better disability care.
Even my own relatives, that for one reason or another had disability. It was until I was director of medical services in Nairobi that, they got to register after nearly 20 years of living with disability. And so they have been passed. So you can imagine if persons like ourselves still don't have that knowledge and the amount of stigma.
This is a revolution around social justice, equity, in that we really want to look at the dignity of people abled differently.
For the first time in this country, we have introduced assistive technology devices, partnering with our partners, KEMSA, so that they are offered as part of the product portfolios that they have at KEMSA.
Now the news, a Ukrainian journalist and a political commentator, Peter Zalmayev, says efforts by the United States President Donald Trump to broker peace between his country and Russia are a welcome move. Zalmayev, who spoke in Nairobi County, said Ukrainians are yearning for total peace in the country and not ceasefire, as envisaged by the Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Let's get a ceasefire, let's talk, and let's try to reach peace. Well, Putin wants to go straight to the peace agreement, and has been able somehow to convince Trump to do that. And it sounds good, right? But there's a code for something that Russia wants. They say, let's have peace that addresses all these root causes of the conflict. Let's not yield to Putin, yet let's not make a peace agreement that will essentially mean, like I say, Ukraine's loss of sovereignty. Let's make it a fair peace deal, and that's why I'm thinking it may be premature to talk about trilateral meeting.
Well, of course, I want to take you to Mombasa County for that particular meeting between the parliamentarians that is being led by the National Assembly Speaker Moses Masika Wetangula. He spoke earlier on. Let's get to hear what he told the legislators.
Start leadership retreat with the 13th Parliament, whose theme is reinvigorating synergy in leadership for accelerated discharge of the mandate of the National Assembly. You will recall that at the beginning of this session, we held a midterm leadership retreat and made various resolutions. It's now exactly 7 months since we held the retreat, and there's no better time to sit together and review how we have performed as a House in implementing the resolutions of that retreat. The leadership retreat comes at a time in parliamentary parlance we call the home stretch. Pursuant to the provisions of Article 1021 of the Constitution, the 13th Parliament has only 23 months left to the next general election. As the clock winds down, it behoves us as leaders to reinvigorate our synergies to ensure that the House achieves its mandate effectively. Whereas as a House we have done tremendously well in the last 3 years in executing our constitutional roles, we must now focus on growing the momentum as we move towards the end of the season. Former US President Lyndon Johnson once said, "Yesterday is not ours to recover, but tomorrow is ours to win or lose." Indeed, whereas we can reflect on the successes and learn from the lessons of yesterday, we need to focus on today and tomorrow and ensure that in the end, we deliver the people of Kenya. As leaders, we have a solemn duty to successfully steer the ship until the tail end. The people of Kenya are keenly looking up to us to see whether this house will leave behind a worthy legacy. In order to deliver on the mandate given by the people, we must be ready to ask the hard questions and introspect on where we have failed and where we can do better. We must also have candid conversations on the challenges that lie ahead and discuss how best we can navigate to ensure service delivery to the people. And indeed, I agree with Jeanette, as buttressed by Ichungwa, that later in the day, we must have a moment of facing each other, mundo ko mundo, to speak to one another on what challenges and what successes we have away from our staff, probably except the clerk. And I suggest that if you look at your program, at 5:30, I want us to allocate 1 hour.
Well, we want to also give you a latest update that is currently happening, a briefing of the Kenya National Union of Nurses. Secretary General, that is Seth Panyako, is currently addressing members of the Fourth Estate. Let's listen in.
27. Failure to county government, by the county government to negotiate and conclude collective bargaining agreements. Illegal deduction of agency fee by Kenyatta National Hospital. Failure by the Ministry of Health to transfer budgets and grants to Mathari National Teaching and Referral Hospital. Failure to address acute nurse shortages in public health facilities. Failure to pre-authorize nurse anesthetists and empanel nursing health facilities registered by the Nursing Council of Kenya. And failure to remit third-party deductions. We have had some progress that have been made in these issues. Number one, for example, on the issue of failure to implement SRC circular. Many county governments, as I will show you later in particular, have agreed to implement these circulars. Nairobi County had agreed to implement from last month, and we are having agreements going on by various county governments agreeing to implement the return to work formula of 2017 and the salary and the salary as proposed by SRC, together with the risk allowance. The following employers within the government had the nurses start the strike on 8th. Number one, we had Nairobi County, which are still on strike. Kwale County, which have reached an agreement as we are talking now, but the county secretary has raised some issues, which I think will be addressed today, and I believe that Kwale County will be going back to work. They have agreed to implement the return to work formula of 2017, implement other issues domicile in Kwale, including nursing shortage, including the issue of not going on leave. All those issues have been addressed, and I believe in a short while, Kwale nurses will be calling off the strike and going back to work. Elgeyo Marakwet called off the strike after an agreement was reached, and I think it's the first county within this strike notice to sign the CBA. We have Isiolo. We still have negotiations going on. We have Bomet, Machakos. We have an issue in Machakos where the governor has stated that the strike is politically motivated, and we want to let the governor that the strike.
Well, that is the Secretary General of the Kenya National Union of Nurses, Seth Panyako, addressing an impending nurses strike if their demands are not met. Our very own Joseph Okungu is currently attending that particular briefing and will tell us more in our subsequent bulletins. Now, overseas, President William Ruto says African leaders have resolved to end conflicts over limited resources in the region. During the opening session of the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TICAD, in Yokohama City, Japan, President Ruto said regional conflicts undermine development and opportunities for African people. The Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, Sudan, South Sudan, and the Sahel bloc are among the most affected countries. African leaders have further initiated reforms of African Union institutions, including the Peace Fund, to boost peace efforts in Africa.
The challenge before us is not about knowing what needs to be done, but whether we have the courage and urgency to do it. Currently, less than 18% of Africa's exports are traded in the continent, compared to over 60% in Europe and Asia. According to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, Africa must trade more with itself to unlock the vast potential of markets, open rivers of opportunity for our people, create wealth, and drive inclusive prosperity. Agriculture remains Africa's greatest untapped engine of prosperity. It employs more than 60% of our people and contributes nearly a quarter of the continent's GDP, yet its promise is far from being realized.
The Kenya National Highways Authority has issued a notice on the temporary traffic disruption at the Rironi-Kamandura interchange to allow reconstruction works from Friday 22nd August 2025 to Friday 31st of October 2025. The planned disruption will facilitate major reconstruction works on the interchange, including the improvement of slip roads, loops and approach roads. Road signs are mounted to redirect drivers and road users to alternative roads. According to residents and long-distance drivers who use the interchange, the construction will ease traffic flow and minimize inconveniences.
Badala ya kuambiwa ati tunajengewa barabara, sisi tunataka kazi ya kuonekana vile inaonekana saa hizi.
Hii Mau-Summit Road ijengwe kutoka huko Lemuru, alafu ifungue njia zote upande wote. Kenya iwe safi na iwe hakuna nini, hakuna jamu mingi.
Dereva wote wale wanatumia hii barabara wafuate mwito wa kukubali inatengenezwa. Kwa hivyo wakipewa mahali wapitia hapo, wasisumbuane, kwa sababu hii barabara itasaidia wakaaji wa hapa, itasaidia sisi tumetoka mbali, tunaenda kuona wazazi.
Now, workers at a Sony Sugar Company have downed their tools to protest over what they describe as unlawful termination of contracts and the non-payment of salaries for the past 2 months alone. Led by their respective NOAA or PIOM, the workers are demanding full settlement of all salary arrears and benefits before the government-imposed exit deadline of October 31st, 2025. Workers expressed frustration and confusion over the unclear communication regarding their future.
Kwanza tuliambiwa serikali itatulipa salary for the 6 months ambayo inakuja. Hii 6 months haijaisha, serikali sasa haijatulipa for 2 months.
I'm standing here as a woman who is taking care of her children. School fees is on my head. Food is on my head. Clothing is on my head. So everything I'm doing, I'm talking on behalf of every woman that we need money.
Tumekuwa tukilipwa na serikali, unafika tarehe 13, 15 tunalipwa. Saa hizi tarehe 20 imeingia, tujalipwa pesa. Hakuna communication, hakuna kitu yote. Kitu ambayo tunapata, heshima ambayo tunapata, asante, ni kunawekewa barua, tunaambiwa by tarehe 31 Oktoba kila mtu anapata barua kwenda nyumbani. Mimi siogopi kwenda kwetu.
17 minutes past the hour. Let's take our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll be telling you more news, including not only where the president is in Japan, but also the current proceedings that are happening in Mombasa. So don't go too far.
We are real people who give real care. Visit www.definiteassurance.com or email info@definiteassurance.com for more information, or contact 0708-247-247 or 0788-247-247. Definite Assurance. You are definitely covered. J. Uko nao.
The lay of the land. Safety ball for Esala, but he still manages to retain possession. He's available to provide support. The attack. Here comes Algeria flying down the flank. Abdulrahman Ziane sets the ball in motion. Could be an opportunity. Chipped into the center of the park. To be filling a bit of the eggs of his latest exertion. Awkward, yeah? How's that for a picturesque leap into the air? Pretty athletic here out there.
Back your favorite team as they battle for glory in the Total Energies CAF African Nations Championship 2024, right here on home soil.
Mimi hutumia mbolea inayoitwa Elgon Dhabiti DAP kwa upanzi wa mimea yenye afya bora. Halafu natumia mbolea ya Dhabiti CAN ama Dhabiti Urea kwa ukuaji wa mimea bora. Hii imenisaidia kupata mavuno mengi nikilinganisha na siku za hapo mbeleni.
Mbolea ya Elgon Dhabiti inapatikana kwa viwango vya kilo 10, 25 na kilo 50 kote nchini. Elgon Kenya Limited.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now to Nyeri County, where Jukwaa la Usalama was happening there. The Interior Cabinet Secretary, that is Kipchumba Murkomen, spoke to the members of the Fourth Estate. Let's listen in to what he had to say.
That pursuant to the efforts that have been put in place by government, Nyeri is county number 41 in terms of proliferation of alcohol and drugs, meaning that it has made very great progress. It's one of the counties in the region, in the central region, that has the lowest proliferation. Of course, Kiambu still leads because of its proximity to Nairobi, but Murang'a is also as fairly affected because it's part of the Nairobi metropolitan region. But if you Nyandarua, we were in Nyandarua yesterday, and this ranking is as low, closer to Nyeri. Nyeri is the lowest ranking now of all the counties in the region. So congratulations to particularly the security team, the chiefs, the assistant chiefs, but more importantly, the citizens. There is generally, if you were to listen to the feedback from Central Province, you will think that there is a major crisis of alcohol abuse. But in reality, the reason why it is more pronounced here is because of citizen consciousness. The citizens are very, very conscious about cases of alcohol abuse, drug abuse, and they are very particular in terms of this fight. So every small incident that happens in this Mount Kenya region, the citizens are very conscious to speak about it. But in reality, the worst hit counties are in the western part of the country, led by Trans Nzoia, and then followed by Kakamega and Kisumu, and then of course Nairobi and its environs. So the efforts, we are also here to learn from the strategies that have been put in place over time in this region that have helped to reduce this problem of alcohol and drug abuse, so that then in our next visit to Western and Nyanza region, we can be able to share with the citizens and the security team in that particular region. Be that as it may, there is still challenges here, particularly related to second-generation alcohol and adulterated ethanol. This problem is very, very specific. It is perpetrated by not more than 5 businessmen. In quotes, they call themselves businessmen, but particular smugglers of this ethanol, adulterated ethanol. Last night, one of them was arrested based on a particular sting operation that was done by a team that came from Nairobi, working together with our local security team. These particular business people, for some reason, find Laikipia County as a safe haven.
All that was earlier on, where the Interior Cabinet Secretary is informing members of the 4th Estate in the Jukwaa la Usalama in Nyeri County. Giverson Minor is following on that particular story and will inform us in our subsequent bulletins. Now, Samburu County Government, in partnership with a non-governmental organization, has launched a gender policy aimed at tracking and rising cases of gender-based violence in the region. Speaking during the launch of the policy, Youth Affairs and Gender CEC, Evelyn Lentano said that the county government is currently creating awareness through media to educate the public on GBV. The campaign aims at reducing challenges like female genital mutilation, FGM, child marriages and domestic violence, which are rampant in the country.
Siku hii ya leo tumefurahi sana sababu tumeweza kupata sheria yetu yenye inatulinda kijinsia. The gender policy tumeweza kulaunch. Ni safari imekuwa refu sana since 2017 mpaka 2025.
Elimika pia kwamba ni bora zaidi sisi kama Wazamburu kupeleka watoto wasichana shuleni ili wapate mafunzo kikamilifu kama wale wengine, manake wako na haki.
We have the GBV project, and I believe with this policy we will continue to mainstream gender equality and also disability inclusion in our activities. So we are very, very much delighted. Nashukuru serikali ya kaunti ya Samburu kwa kuweza kupitiza sera hii ya jinsia ili kuweza pia kushughulikia madhara ambayo yanakuja na dhuluma ya kijinsia.
Now I want to take you live to the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport so that you can see the scenes there, given that the DCP party leader, that is Rigathi Gachagua, is set to arrive into the country any moment from now. You can see those images. Those, some of them are people who have come there to, of course, greet the DCP party leader as and when he arrives. Earlier on, we also saw the security was tight in that particular area. For now, the police have ensured that security inside and outside the airport has been ascertained, following, of course, the briefing that was made yesterday by the National Police Service Inspector General, that is Douglas Kanja. You can see these are members and supporters of the DCP party and other loyals of the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who have converged at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. You can see they are waiting for the arrival of the DCP party leader, who has spent a bit of his time in the United States of America furthering his courses ahead of the 2027 polls. You do remember the IG clearly stated yesterday that security will be ascertained. Our very own John Jacob Curia is currently at JKIA and will be informing us any moment from now what exactly is the position. But moving on swiftly, the Kenya Wildlife Service has received a patrol boat that will help in enhancing security at the central island in Lake Turkana, located in Turkana County. The Kenya Wildlife Service Director General Erastus Kanga says 3 KWS officers have lost their lives in the hands of criminals in the area for the last 2 years. The boat was donated under the Horn of Africa Regional Environment Resilience and Sustainability Project.
With a number of bodies still missing following the deadly attack by members of a militia from Ethiopia against fishermen in Lake Turkana early this year, efforts to ensure security in the area have received a boost following the donation of a patrol boat that is capable of scanning below the waters.
Over the last 2 years, Kenya Wildlife Service has lost 3 dedicated officers in Sibiloi. So this is an environment that we are very keen, and we intend to upscale our security issues.
We needed to support KWS to be able then to secure the waters of Lake Turkana by providing a boat that can be able to be used for patrols in the area.
Speaking while receiving the boat at the Kenya Wildlife Service headquarters in Nairobi, the KWS Director General Erastus Kanga said the boat will not only ensure the safety of rangers, but also the community at large.
By enabling timely patrol and swift response, this vessel will help deter illegal activities, protect fisheries, and secure the livelihood of families who rely on the lake for sustenance and peace.
The South Rift Association of Landowners Director John Olekamanga said the organization intends to desal the waters around the central island to ensure availability of clean water to the rangers and the local community.
We're also going to support the rangers there to be able to get good water. So I think we're going to get equipment to be able to desilt that water so that they're able to take. But also we will then do solarization of the centers there.
Tilio Marco for Lunchtime News.
Elsewhere, 3 Mark County governors are pushing for the nomination of an El Chamus community member to Parliament as a condition for support for political parties seeking more votes in 2027. Kajiado Governor Joseph Olelenku, Narok's Patrick Olentutu and Samburu's Lelelit said that the El Chamus residing in Baringo County have for years been politically sidelined. The leaders made the remarks at the Amboseli National Park while meeting tourism stakeholders ahead of the Mar Culture Week in November, which coincides with the park's handover to Kajiado County.
Hii culture ambayo tunataka kuonesha dunia mzima ni moja ya za zile vitu ambazo zinaleta watu pamoja. Ukiona leo hii mchezo ya mpira imeleta Wakenya pamoja na tumekuwa sasa united. Hata hii pia culture inaweza kutuunite sisi wote kama Wakenya.
The first step is to make sure that you have a nominated James person in your list, so that for once we can have a James person, El Chamus person, sitting either in the National Assembly or in the Senate. That one we cannot compromise this time. It's been long overdue. The people of El Chamus are people of this country. They've never seen the National Assembly. They've never seen the Senate.
It is time now for El Chamus to have their voice in our parliament through nomination. And the Ma Nation petition, anybody who wants to talk to us to have El Chamus as number one nominated person on behalf of all of us, the Ma Nation.
An outbreak of measles has been reported in Malindi sub-county of Kilifi County amid concerns over low childhood immunization coverage that local health officials warn could expose the community to more epidemics. Confirming the outbreak, Malindi sub-county public health officer Alex Maitha says at least 4 children have been reported to have contracted measles in the Shela area of Malindi town. He, however, revealed that the health officials are currently conducting a mop-up exercise and administering repeat measles vaccines doses to those who may have missed out in the recent campaign.
There is among the locals and health stakeholders, according to Malindi Public Health Officer Alex Maitha. Despite recent vaccination campaigns, a significant number of children have not received the recommended 2 doses of the measles rubella vaccine.
Ningependa tu kuripoti ya kuwa kwa kuwa tuko chini sana katika masuala ya chanjo, watoto wengi namaanisha kuwa hawajapata ile kama measles rubella ya pili, wengi walimalizia ile ya miezi 9. Kiwango chetu cha chanjo kiko chini, na hivyo pia tumeanza kuona dalili ya kuwa ni kweli kiko chini, kwa sababu kuna mkurupuko wa ugonjwa wa ukambi ndani ya Malindi. Tumeripoti visa kadhaa vya ukambi na tunaendelea na juhudi za kufanya kitu tunaita mop up.
Speaking during an immunization sensitization workshop for community leaders at Malindi Hotel, Maitha noted that while the government-led campaign on measles, rubella and typhoid vaccines had improved coverage slightly, the targets were not met.
Tumeona watoto 2-3 wameambukizwa ukambi tunaenda door to door kwenye zile nyumba na kule masehemu wanakosoma mashule, tukipeana hizi chanjo kama booster dose. Na pia tunashukuru serikali kwa kuwa katika hichi kipindi kilichopita hapa nyuma tulikuwa na kampeni ya kupeana chanjo ya kuzuia ugonjwa wa homa matumbo na ukambi na rubela.
The officer further warned about the spread of mpox, noting that at least 2 samples of suspected mpox sufferers had been taken for analysis.
Hizi chanjo zinapokuja wapate kupata maelezo kamili kuhusu hizi chanjo ili waweze kufahamika na kufunguka akili na kujua kuwa hizi chanjo ni muhimu kwa watoto hasa ambao wako chini ya miaka 5.
Kilifi County has reported 19 cases, while neighboring Mombasa County has registered 140.
Ni jukumu la sisi kama washikadau na pamoja na wazazi tuchukulie jambo hili muhimu sana, kwa sababu ni katika ile juhudi hiyo ndio tunasema kwamba afya yako ni jukumu lako.
In the meantime, parents have been urged to take advantage of the 23 health facilities in Malindi that offer routine vaccines from BCG at birth to HPV for girls aged to 10 to 14 years.
Jamii mjini Malindi na Kilifi County wawajibike kikamilifu kuwapeleka watoto hawa hospitali kupata chanjo kama hizi kikamilifu bila kudharau yoyote. Manake ikiwa inatangazwa kwamba kuna chanjo fulani inakuja, basi wazazi wawajibike.
Timothy Kipnusu for Lunchtime News.
Now, hundreds of pupils in Marsabit County have seen their education disrupted as rising waters from Lake Turkana threaten to swallow El Molo Bay Primary School in Loyangalani. The government has now stepped in with a plan to relocate the institution to safer ground. Our reporter Aaron Marie has the details.
It is a haunting sight. The once vibrant El Molo Bay Primary School now sits on the swelling waters of Lake Turkana. For years, locals here have watched the shoreline creep closer, a slow invasion that has now put their only school at risk of submersion.
Sisi tukazana to make sure that hiyo shule imeisha, watoto waende kusoma. Na hata nyinyi ambaye mko ndani hapa, hayo mahali hata nyinyi mjichunge kwa sababu hiyo maji pia inaanza kuja kwenu. So mkae tu na mjiangalie.
With classroom now marooned, many pupils now rely on wooden boat, nicknamed the school bus, to reach makeshift learning spaces. Enrollment has plummeted from 400 children to 150. For the El Molo community, education has become a daily gamble with nature, but a ray of hope is emerging. The government, through the State Department for Special Programs, the Huduma Smart Serikalini Initiative, and Public Service, has pledged immediate action to move the school to higher ground.
Tutashirikiana na Ministry of Education, tutashirikiana na Special Program, vile tutashirikiana na mashirika yale yengine kuhakikisha kwamba ile shule tumeona watoto watahamishwa.
The program is tailored to address challenges facing marginalized and vulnerable communities, particularly in arid and semi-arid regions like Marsabit. It focuses on food security, climate resilience, education, health and social protection.
Sisi wote tukikaa pamoja, hiyo shule very soon itajengwa. Lakini muangalie ile mahali hiyo shule itajengwa. Isiwe ni mahali ambao tena maji itafikia haraka.
The relocation plan will be carried out in partnership with local leaders and civil society groups. For this community, the government's promise comes not just as development policy, but as a lifeline for their children's future.
Also, a Principal Secretary State Department of TVET, Dr. Esther Moria, has emphasized the importance of equipping trainees with technical skills under the right guidance, saying exposure and opportunities are key enablers that will help them thrive in today's dynamic world. Speaking during the official launch of the week-long workshop of career services officers drawn from 256 TVET institutions, Dr. Moria called for the establishment of fully functional career offices in all the TVET institutions, assuring the ministry's support in capacity building.
After we have had a conversation with the Ministry of Labour,
we have the occupational standards that we need to train into, because we want to convince the industries that we are training requisitely as they require. But we also need to have career services officers to be able to guide our young people into the exactness of what is needed out there in the industries, so that we continue to train them.
We are launching the training of Office of Career Officers in all of our TVET institutions, as has been observed by our Permanent Secretary, State Department of TVET, Dr. Esther Mori, and the training has commenced. Kabete National Polytechnic happens to be the one hosting this training.
Hundreds of young Kenyans and farmers from across the country turned to Egerton University in Nakuru, hoping to gain new skills that could change their lives. Experts from Kenya and China guided participants through modern farming technologies and hands-on techniques, helping them to see practical ways to improve their farms. The director of Confucius Institution, Egerton University, Director Professor Yutao Liu, challenged the trainees to put their skills to work to contribute to the country's food security. That report by Ben Chumba will be coming up in just a while. As and when we get that particular report, we'll be sharing it with you. But for now, we take a short commercial break, and then we'll be back with more.
Kenya's past double waterproof in paint.
Meet the experts who empower you with competent skills at craft, certificate and diploma level. Sensei Institute of Technology. My skills, my future.
Hesabu kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri, David!
Afya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
First match of this CHAN here. Odhiambo goes directly a goal and Kalumba's across quickly. Great footwork from the goalkeeper. Very consistent goalkeeper. Won a couple of league titles and the APSA Cup for Red Arrows in recent years. Diambo hits it nicely, but Kalumba's a excellent footwork.
Premium flour, nurturing the world. Available in a store near you.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, hundreds of young Kenyans and farmers from across the country turned to Egerton University in Nakuru County, hoping to gain new skills that will change their lives. Experts from Kenya and China guided participants through modern farming technologies and hands-on techniques, helping them see practical ways to improve their farms. The director of the Confucius Institution at Egerton University, Director Professor Yutao Leo, challenged the trainees to put their skills to work to contribute to the country's food security. Ben Chumba with that report.
How to control the LED light.
At Egerton University, farming is getting a new face. Youth and farmers from across the country are learning how simple innovations from LED lights in greenhouses to modern feed for livestock can change their lives.
This technology could increase the yield of the crop, and this will benefit the food security and the nutrition of the local people.
The training is a partnership between China, Egerton University and the International Fund for Agricultural Development.
Focusing on the needs of that particular.
Organizers say the goal is not just to teach technology, but to see farming as a career.
We introduce the advanced technology. Maybe some technology still the Kenyan people didn't know about this. So I think this will change their mind and may adopt the new technology.
For instance, one student has asked, but LED technology, I want to have formal training into that LED, and we're asking that is there being offered at a particular moment. We think that this already open opportunity.
For extension officers like Judith Talam, the lessons are practical, especially for smallholder farmers working on limited land.
Ile masomo nimepata hapa, si lazima mkulima aweze kuwa na shamba kubwa. Anaweza jisustain na ile quarter of an acre ako nayo. Ataweza kuwa pale na greenhouse, ataweza poultry, do any other farming there.
For students like Rodney Muriuki, the exposure has sparked new dreams.
It has really ignited something in me that I really love to study about the LED lights in greenhouse, technology, innovation in greenhouse management that will improve food production in our country.
According to IFAD, such innovations also open up jobs for unemployed youth while boosting food security for the country.
We feel that the technology IFAD has promoted together with our partners and also government is a best fit, that the youth, especially with that knowledge and the skills and the tools they can able to adapt, they'll be able to start into farming with a diversified opportunity.
Professor Liu says this is only the beginning, with more training planned and even student exchanges between Kenya and China on the horizon. For the young people here, the future of farming looks brighter.
Technology is always improving, and that is a good line which is going to bring a lot of benefits to especially the young people. You might not necessarily be working in the farm, but you are indirectly contributing to food security in the country through technology.
Ben Chumba, Lunchtime News.
And now let's get down to business. The new Mombasa commuter rail train system will start operation later this month, ending months of delays. The 17-kilometer railway system will link travelers disembarking from the Maritini SGR station to Mombasa Central Railway Station, which has also undergone major rehabilitation. The Kenya Railways Company says commuters will choose between park and ride or the drop and ride option.
The new two modern passenger stations in Mombasa Town and Maritini at 2.3-kilometer ocean span Cooper and the revitalization of 16 of meter gauge railway, all part of improve commuter efficiency and urban. The MCRS will serve as a last-mile transit link for passengers using the Madaraka Express transition between regional and city transport. 2 additional stations are also planned in Changamwe East and West, underscoring the project's long-term expansion and city-wide integration. The new system incorporates park and ride and drop and ride facilities with parking for over 100 vehicles. At launch, the service is projected to serve over 1,000 commuters per day, a figure expected to grow as service awareness and urban demand increase.
The Office of the Data Protection Commissioner has called on digital lenders to review and update their privacy policies to fully comply with the Data Protection Act. Data Commissioner Immaculate Kasait says many leaders are yet to comply with the Data Privacy Act and the guidance she noted that issued in 2023. Kasait is further calling for regular data protection impact assessment by players in the sector, particularly when introducing new products. Digital Financial Services Association of Kenya and the ODPC have launched a new partnership to drive awareness and deepen understanding on data privacy.
I invite the digital lenders to proactively engage our office, which I'm happy that you continue to do, and also reaffirm that the protecting data is not just a legal obligation, but is a duty to citizens and customers. And most importantly, when your customers trust you, then they borrow from you more and your business grows. I would really like to encourage for you in your policy documents to embrace alternative dispute resolution so that you become the first point of call. If indeed there is a violation, you address it at that level.
Also, businesses should prioritize customer experience in the operation in order to remain sustainable. Leaders warn that organizations which fail to invest in customer experience risk losing competitiveness in both local and global markets. Institute of Customer Experience Chairperson Joseph Choge says the latest survey shows that 73% of consumers consider customer experience a key factor in their purchasing decision, yet only 49% of businesses compete primarily on consumer experience. Choge says customer experience and satisfaction have become the defining factors in business performance.
As a research and teaching base for Global South communication, we like to use this as a possible case study to tell the story of African industrialization and urbanization through the collaboration of industry, government, and educational institutions.
We're not only talking about the education and also like technology and capital, and also today even we talk a lot about for the culture and the industry and everything, even in the future how we can cooperate.
Well, we do apologize for that. Let's give you now the story on customer experience prepared by Trevor. The business that businesses should prioritize customer experience in their operations in order to remain sustainable. Leaders warn that organizations which fail to invest in customer experience risk losing competitiveness in both local and global market. Institutes of Customer Experience Chairperson Joseph Choge says the latest survey shows that 73% of consumers consider customer experience a key factor in their purchasing decision, yet only 49% of businesses compete primarily on customer experience. Choge says customer experience and satisfaction have become the defining factors in business performance.
We're in an era where CX is no longer nice to have. It is the differentiator that determines who thrives and who fades into irrelevance. Today's customers are very empowered, very vocal, and actually spoiled for choice. Organizations that fail to embed CX into their DNA risk being left behind, regardless of their size, legacy, or market share.
And now finally, let's get sporty. 12 teams are competing in the annual Obuya Cricket Tournament, which makes a return since 2020 when it was halted due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The tournament is part of the education cricket program that is used by the Obuya Academy to develop the young talents.
After 4 years of no play, the Obuya Cricket Tournament has made a return in 2025, bringing together budding talents from across Kenya and beyond. A total of 132 players representing 5 age categories from under 9 to under 19 are competing in the tournament, which began on Wednesday and ends on Friday at 2 venues in Nairobi. The tournament has brought together players drawn from the Obuya Cricket Academy, Kajiado and Nairobi counties, showcasing grassroots cricket development in Kenya.
Few of our batsmen couldn't bat yesterday, so we want to put a few of our good batsmen last so that they can help us get more runs so that we can achieve our goal in what we're trying to target.
Nilianza grade 3 to grade 5. Ninapenda kwenda nchi zote, nicheze vizuri, tushinde. Napenda tu niende nchi zingine, nipande ndege, niende kabisa.
The game was good. We had lots. We were good at fielding. Our team got a lot of wickets and it was very good.
I can now bat very well, not like the times I was new at this academy. My bowling has really improved from bowling no balls and wide balls. Now I bowl very straight.
I think they're very good at bowling, but I think we're a very determined team, so I feel like we're going to go very far.
In addition, an under-17 team from Uganda is part of the competition, adding an international flavor to this year's event.
The good thing with all this lovely sport is we try and combine both. The very people are very fortunate to be where they call in quotes wealthy, and also the local boys, and that's what the main of the tournament. But the main thing is, the most important thing is the sport, which is cricket.
The tournament's primary objective is to spread the game, showcase young talent and create sustainable player pathways.
We're just trying to encourage as many kids possible to play from all the backgrounds, and that's I think that's the most important thing for us as a family and as a Obuya Cricket Academy.
Talented participants will be scouted from potential elevation to the Obuya Academy senior team and the Kenyan national team, strengthening the cricket pipeline in the country.
Sports is quite interesting, and it can take you anywhere. If you look at the games which have been played today here, we've got boys from South Africa who are part of this one. From Kenya, there are boys from Kibera, there are boys from girls and boys from Kajiado who has come in. So I think the most thing is nothing can touch the sport, and you can see it with football now. It has united the whole country, and I hope one day cricket will be part of that uniting the whole country.
The event is closely tied to the Cricket Sports Training and Education Project, run in collaboration with Safal MRM Foundation.
We have passed the mark. We are targeting 27. which is normally the Collins Obuya t-shirt of to educate 27 kids. We are hitting about 30 kids this year. Hopefully by next year, our main goal is try and push it up. If we can increase by about 10 kids every year, I think we have achieved our goal.
More than 25 children from the project are featuring in the tournament, reinforcing the role of cricket in education and community empowerment.
The national women's homeless soccer team is confident of registering improved performance at the forthcoming Homeless World Cup scheduled against 23rd to the 30th in Oslo, Norway. Kenya, under the guidance of the head coach Evelyn Anyango, and one finishing in the 5th held in Seoul, South Korea, among the 23 countries who will compete in the women's category of the 20th edition of the competition that is expected to also draw 25 men's team. And now Kenya, Zimbabwe, Tanzania and Zambia will represent Africa at the championship. The team is expected to depart for Oslo tomorrow, Friday.
Kujizatiti na kuweza kuchukua nambari 5 kati ya hizo timu zote za wanadada ambayo ili take place kule hivyo South Korea. But kwa huu mwaka lengo letu ni kuweza kuchukua hiyo kikombe, maana timu imejitayarisha na wasichana wenyewe wamejitayarisha vizuri.
The preparation kwa camp imekuwa fiti since tuanze kukaa kwa camp. Tumeinteract well with my fellow players. Ijakuwa rahisi but tumecope better.
For us, it's not going just to be football, but we are using football as a conduit to create awareness on gender-based violence.
And remember, tomorrow the clash is happening at the Kasarani Stadium. That is Harambee Stars versus Madagascar. Also, our fellow neighbors, that is Tanzania, Taifa Stars, will be taking on Morocco. That concludes our bulletin. Do join us in our subsequent bulletins at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Baron Abuli. Good afternoon for now.
We are real people who give real care. Visit www.definiteassurance.com or email info@definiteassurance.com for more information, or contact 0708-247-247 or 0788-247-247. Definite Assurance. You are definitely covered. Je, uko nao?
From the listed housing developments, select your preferred location and apply for a housing unit to begin your journey towards home ownership. Prices start from 640,000 Kenya shillings. Visit Boma Yangu at www.bomayangu.go.ke. Brought to you by Affordable Housing Board. Makao Bora, Jukumu letu.
Meet the experts who empower you with competent skills at craft, certificate and diploma level. Sensei Institute of Technology. My skills, my future.
Lakini usiitishe unga, itisha Kavagara.
They look for the through ball. His second of the tournament, but the first of the game, and Kenya now poised to stay in Nairobi.